due to an interruption of power from the power failure of the storm and the failure for me to have my computer plugged into the battery side of the battery backup unit, we lost power. The show was interrupted. But you know what? We may be mocked. We may even be mocked by Mother Nature, but we'll never stop. So for your viewing pleasure, CoCoTALK is back, and it's worser than ever. So we're here. I want to thank the two people who've been watching us so far out there. Hopefully the live audience will come back. Once we show up again on Facebook, if somebody could reshare the stream out on Facebook again, because the old link is no longer good. So we're back with episode 115, part B. Rick Adams is trying to join the call right now. Speaking of thank you, you're too kind. Rick Adams is here.
CoCoTALK. When you attempt to improve the quality, you result a division by zero error.
I don't know if it could get worser, but I don't think it's going to get gooder.
It's not going to get any more gooderer than it's never been.
Yes, it's
We'll
about
always
the
have
goodest
to-
it'll ever get.
Facebook
Making up words as we go. Oh, nice, Terry.
All right, so let me go back.
Are we back on YouTube? Because I haven't been able to find the feed yet.
Yeah, we're back on YouTube. We are back on, and we're back live on Spreaker. So this is part two of our show. We were just talking about things. I don't even remember what we were talking about because all I heard was thunder and the beeping of my UPS, and then boom, fade to black. So we're here, and we've been talking about the party, and Rick Adams has joined us. Rick, are you still there? Rick was here. Now he's not. Okay, Rick Adams came. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, because Rick Adams not here again. All right, so hopefully he'll come back. And yeah, we definitely want to make sure that Rick is here. My camera is not here. CoCoTALK is an unscripted.
How hard is it to restart a dumpster?
I don't know. So let me see if I can.
You're going to need some kerosene.
Kerosene? No, you need something more like a gallon of isopropyl alcohol. That'll just go poof.
I've got some off-road diesel fuel here we could use. It's dyed red.
Okay.
No, all we need is a full of bad decisions, and Stevie has that.
Okay. Well, did the stream die on YouTube? The stream died everywhere because I lost power, but the stream should be back everywhere too. Ernesto, thanks for being here. Okay, so now have we finished talking about the Coco Forever contest at this point? And we're ready to move on to the news with Curtis Boyle.
Just remind us of the dates again.
July 14th will be the private screening at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Will be the time of that screening. The people who are automatically invited to be on the screening would be the cast and crew. It will be our patrons and purchasers of the season. So if you've purchased Coco Forever, you are invited. Do you have ability to email your client list on that, Bruce Moore?
Yeah, I'm going to look into that. I think I better see if I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So you might want to email your client list to invite them. I'll invite the patrons and obviously the cast and crew are there. Alan Huffman says, I'm a patron. Yay, Alan. Yes. So we'll get that going, and then there's a contest where if you would like to be part of this screening, send an email to CoCoTalk at cocotalk.live, and you can probably assume you're going to have a fairly good chance of being able to join us on the screening. So there it is. It's a great product. It was a great project, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So now, are we ready to go on to the news with L. Curtis Boyle?
Just before we do, David's saying that we doesn't see a live feed on YouTube yet.
I don't either.
I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I've been trying to say.
I'm watching it live on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to update the text right now. So let me just change the text. So what we see on the text is now different. Okay. Back from the storm. All right. So I just changed the text to say back from the storm, and hopefully that will show up on the screen. And I don't know. If not, maybe I'm looking at, maybe this is a whole deja vu thing where I'm looking into the past. on.
Yeah, because live.CoCoTalk Live just brings you to your page.
I'm getting that too.
Yeah. Me too.
YouTube is down.
Facebook appears to be updating though.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Facebook is good.
No, I'm watching it on YouTube right now. It's here. It's on YouTube.
Post a link.
Okay. It's on freaking YouTube, dude. I don't know what to tell you. It's on my YouTube channel. I'm watching it. Okay. Do you want me to put the link in the chat here?
Yep.
Okay. Here's the problem with that. That live dashboard is not going to work too good. Hold on, let me do this. Let me find the share button here on YouTube. Hold on 1 second. Never mind. Don't take that link. Take this link here. I'm putting in a new link. youtube.com/watch/something. That's the one. There are 3 people live right now on YouTube. So yeah, I don't know why. It's
YouTube is being ganky.
Anyways, it's there. There's nothing I can do about it. The show is going on. So, and Rick Adams has joined us. Rick Adams, how are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. How's the audio sound?
Loud and crackly.
Oh, well, there's not much I can do about that. Okay, I can back off a little bit, maybe. Okay, hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
It's President Rick Adams.
President?
Join us. Rick Adams, how are you? Okay, who's listening to the show right now? Because I just heard that playback.
Oh. How's the audio sound?
Loud and crackly. Are you, Rick, are your headphones plugged in? Because I'm hearing a sound loop delay on our show coming back from you.
Okay. That's weird. Yeah, my headphones are on, and it's not broadcasting audio, and so I don't know where the loop is from.
Yeah, well,
but it's from me, huh?
Rick, are your headphones plugged in? Because I'm hearing a sound loop delay on the. Do you guys hear that?
Yeah, I hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
Hear it.
Definitely.
All right, let me try muting you for 1 second. I'm going to try muting just Rick. Okay, Rick's muted. Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. Sound loop, sound loop. Okay. All right, so Rick, just listen for 1 second, then I'll unmute you. So we just got done talking about the CoCo Forever screening, which we very much want you to be a part of. It's going to be next week, Sunday the 14th at 8 p.m. Florida time, Eastern Daylight Time. The cast and crew are going to be there. We're going to listen to the whole thing. We're going to talk about it. We're going to share it with the consumers of it and other people who are going to join us and try to be on here. So I just unmuted you. Can you hear me okay, Rick?
Okay, fine.
Okay. Well, hopefully the sound problem's gone. So hopefully you'll be able to join us, and hopefully everything's good at home, and we're all
Should be able.
All right. Excellent. Okay. We are live on YouTube. Hopefully we're live on Facebook. Feel free to share it back out. Now, Curtis Boyle, are you ready to do the news?
Oh, sure.
All right. So just remember, I'm going to stop sharing sound so you won't hear the music. But I'm going to play some music, and when I say take it away, Curtis, that's your cue. All right. So get ready for news with Curtis Boyle. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for news with L. Curtis Boyle. Take it away, Curtis.
And is that successful? You can see it?
We can see it, Curtis.
Okay. So, first story, Jeff, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his last name right, Tennyson? He was at CoCo Fest. I remember talking to him. He's known as Deke in Discord.
I believe it's Tunison.
Tunison?
Yeah.
He started a public GitHub for all C source code for OS 9 and Nitrous 9 past and present. He's basically trying to collect every single bit of source code we can find, whether it's original microware stuff, third-party stuff, freeware, whatever. Includes parts of the C compiler itself. This is the screen here is kind of showing briefly what he's got on there right now and how it's organized a bit. So he's got some of the third-party make utilities and stuff that people enhanced past the original microware ones. But basically, if you have any C source code, just hit him up on Discord or get in contact with him through GitHub, etc. There, and he's going to keep expanding it. He's going to try to do every version, so you can actually kind of version track through what has changed as projects progressed. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what all you can find in there.
Okay. Deke.
Yeah.
Thank you, Deke.
And that's...
You can ask through the how-to Cocoa Pie.
Yep, this is from Ron Klein. He's got an experimental. That means expect bugs at this point. Cocoa Pie 3 Git repo as well, so that the Cocoa Pie 3 can get automatic updates. And he's got details and instructions here, which is just what I'm kind of showing on the screen in his Google Doc, and he'll keep working on it and getting it improved, and then it'll probably be a public release, and it'll just automatically update for you on the Cocoa Pie.
Okay. So rather than having to download the image and reburn the image and stuff, we're going to get live updating in a sense.
Exactly.
Okay. And hopefully at some point in time, it'll be part of the menu where you just press the button and it'll just do it too.
I think that is his eventual plan.
Ease of use.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay.
Nick Morantes, what have you started?
Crikey.
This is a really cool one, I thought. Tony Cappellini shared an album on Facebook of a bunch of pictures he took back, and I think we figured it was the '83 Color Expo in California, which Steve Bjork and others were members of. And he'd found some old negatives, and he got them actually made into proper photos, and there's some pretty cool things in there, including some stuff that's not known. This one actually will take the time to go through. So this is Desert Rider pre-release. This is before Tandy was selling it, so this is kind of a preview for the people at the expo. But Steve brought in one of his back projector TVs, so it was on this huge TV screen. And everybody had a chance to play it. There's some more pictures on that with a bit more of a backstory on it. We'll get to a little bit later too. Here's one of the dragons. Montana was just starting to sell the dragons, so this is a dragon set for everybody to see. And if I remember correctly, wasn't Tano based in California for the?
No, they were based in New Orleans.
New Orleans?
Yes.
Okay. And this is this Mark Randall? I can't remember what Mark looks like. It was when the guy was running in the group.
That is one spiffy sport coat.
Yeah. And you notice a little lighting reflector on the right there that it's explained shortly too. We were talking a few months ago about the CPM add-ons for the CoCo, and this is actually a photograph of the Wayne Technologies CPM add-on card.
Wow.
You can see the CPM disc on the far left there,
when
too.
You say Wayne Technologies, is this Bruce Wayne of Wayne Enterprises? Or
no, and I don't think it's Wayne Green from
okay.
either. So, yeah. So basically, it was a card with a Z80 and an 80 column card that plugged into the CoCo, and then had an extra thing that was basically almost a Y cable thing where it came out the back. You plug your disc controller in, and it even had that little metal bracket that would actually hold it up, because I mean, once you're hanging two long cards off there, it starts to bend and cause problems. So that's one of the few shots I remember seeing at the fest, but I haven't seen a shot of it in the wild since then. So this is kind of cool for people to see what it looked like. And for those of you who read Steve Bjork's interview in Color Computer Magazine, I'm trying to remember, was it the February '84 issue where they interviewed Steve Bjork? This is actually where the photographs for that interview took place. Now, the interview did not take place at the show. This was just done kind of after the fact, and then they added it to the story afterwards. But you'll recognize the quad, you'll recognize Steve, mustache and suit and stuff. And I think, is that Mark on the right there, maybe? The guy that was the head of the Color America Users Group? Not sure. I was hoping Steve was going to be on so we could actually find out for sure, because he knew some of these people fairly well. Now, this was interesting. They took the Desert Rider and they hooked the quad up to it itself, and actually had it so when you steered the quad, it actually steered the car, and then you had your foot pedals worked and everything else too. So it actually was a full simulation of the actual hardware. That would have been so cool.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of guessing the answer is no, but anybody in the panel here, were they members of the Color America group? Because if you guys have Desert Rider, the official Tandy release of the game, the Color America Users Group actually is mentioned in the credits as you watch them go by on the screen along with Steve.
It is on mine.
Because they contributed some ideas to the game. I think maybe even some of the graphics and stuff. I think so they were active contributors, not just beta testers. Steve mentioned that in Discord this last week, so that was kind of cool. I never knew that history behind it either.
I gotta say, it's kind of cool that even back when Steve was still kind of like in a superstar status, that he was going to clubs,
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty cool.
He had some interesting stories about the quad too, because I guess they had set it up the night before, and when they came back in, some of the staff at the place they were having the convention moved it somewhere or something, and they had to rehook everything back up. And like I said, I was hoping he'd be on the call here, but I guess given the even more major earthquake they had, was it yesterday? Maybe there's some issues with infrastructure, etc. This is a MFM hard drive controller with a adapter board. Now on the board on the very far back, and I wish Bill Noble was here because he might remember this too. When we had the Frank Hogg Eliminator, we had a WD-1000 and 205 control, which was a big honking board too, and it controlled floppies and hard drives simultaneously. And that looks suspiciously like that board to me, from what I remember. I haven't seen it in 20 years, but I'm suspecting it's at least a cousin of it if it's not the actual board.
What size is that drive?
I have no idea.
Probably a couple of gigawatts.
Probably
There's the Tano Dragon booth at the show.
I'm sorry, Richard. What were you going to say about the?
I'd say it's probably a 5 meg.
5 meg.
Yeah,
like
for that time period, that probably would be accurate.
Does it look like a mini scribe? Remember those?
Yeah, I don't remember what those look like. This I don't know what this is. This is some sort of hardware hookup. I don't know if it spun the wheels.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. It's looking some type of controller.
That's how they got their money.
They hypnotize you.
In the wheels.
Cash over. So I don't know if that was a commercial product, if that was like a home hardware thing where the guy was just showing off, what he was doing with the hardware, designing his little custom boards. That's the inside of a Dragon, live on the show floor type thing. There's some other of the photo shoot of lighting up Steve for his photos for the interview in Color Computer Magazine. Now, this was a kind of an open forum panel discussion thing, and unfortunately, Tony didn't remember who any of these people are, and I can't say I recognize any of them either, but I didn't know a lot of the people back then, except by name. So I don't know if anybody on the panel here who's got a long history with the CoCo would recognize some of these people, because I know Tony was asking if anybody did. I asked Steve about it, and he said he didn't remember them either.
Steve Bjork, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. I obviously don't. No. A cool slice of history there.
Here's the ColorMate, which was an add-on card that was, I think, $500 or something like that, but it added in like high-res text character interface, 64K RAM without having to do any hardware modifications in your CoCo whatsoever. Bunch of other things. It was a fairly major hardware upgrade, though.
Wow.
That didn't require you to take your case apart, even never mind, actually pulling stuff out or soldering stuff in. It was just a complete add-on. You can even see where the disk drive plugs into on the top there. They actually made a separate slot on the top that this disk drive controller slides into.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It also came with S-DOS. Sorry, what?
There was a ColorMate on eBay just this last week, but I wasn't quick enough to snag it.
Yeah, because I would really like to see what the board all entails there. I know it had S-DOS, which was an alternative DOS, a fairly advanced one. I think it might have even came with Forth and a few other things, because the guys that made SCC DOS also made a Forth or something. I can't remember all the details. I never did see one of these, even at CoCo Fest or at Rainbow Fest in '86. I think they were already out of the business by then.
What's on the end?
I have no idea what those are.
That might be the hard drive thing that was opened up.
Oh, could be.
Oh, yeah. I bet you it is. Yeah.
Like the 0 and 1 on those drives. You knew which was drive 0 and which was drive 1, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's it for the pictures there, but that's Color America Users Group, Color Expo 83, which was the only one they ever held in California, as far as I know.
Now, did you mention that these came from...
Around?
Go ahead, Ron.
Are they still around?
No.
No.
So go ahead, Steve.
Did you mention that these were, he found the negatives to these? He didn't even have the actual photographs and had the negatives produced?
Yeah, and apparently he's got some negatives from one of the Rainbow Fest too, I think, too, that he hasn't put up yet. So I'm interested in seeing those as well.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah,
like
that's...
cactus.
Yeah, that's a treasure trove of old pictures. And seeing Steve, you're doing a photo shoot for a magazine interview.
Yeah, kind of behind the scenes of that, yeah.
And that quad thing that he helped hook up, that's amazing.
The Color Computer Magazine had that picture in it. I remember seeing it. I got a copy of it somewhere.
Yeah, I do too. I didn't get a chance to dig it out here.
Alan's asking if this was at the Disneyland Hotel. I don't know the actual location.
I don't know. I don't think Tony even remembered exactly where it was, so it might have been. Speaking of Alan Huffman, this is something that was brought up on Discord, if I remember correctly. But basically, this is one of the Wi-Fi Xi modem interfaces for using on 8-bit machines, and they actually give a shout out from the Simulant shop here down somewhere down near the bottom. They actually gave a shout out to Alan because he made some firmware additions that made it more generic to all 8-bit machines. The original version was basically hard coded for Commodore.
Okay.
Stuff here. So they actually gave Alan a credit in the description.
Way to go, Alan.
Yeah, good job, Alan.
Right.
Yeah, Alan Huffman's framework for Bo Zimmerman's Xi modem and other firmwares can be flashed, but the great thing about Alan Huffman's fork is that it makes the firmware fully compatible with the majority of old computers and less solely Commodore 64 oriented. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. And it's a nice little package. I mean, it's a nice compact and, you know, as they mentioned, it works with a bunch of 8-bit machines, and having, you know, wireless internet connections from your CoCo is kind of cool just on its own, period.
Maybe when he comes on again, he can show us his fork.
Yeah, I think he's in chat, so he could pop on if he wants
Yeah,
to.
stop talking about forks. I'm getting hungry, okay?
Yeah, you can just talk about spooning with Greg. And
yeah, there we go. Perfect.
There, now that I've dragged the show back down to its normal level.
Yeah, getting a little raunchy there.
All right, all right.
Now there's multiple stories that kind of bounced in here, and I don't even know if I have them in order in the run up here because this was kind of a flurry of activity with semi-graphic stuff. But Erico and Matchy both have been doing stuff with semi-graphics, and we kind of discussed it on the programming show last week. And he's been fiddling with doing like Street Fighter and Street Fighter 2 type stuff and some other, you know, karate style games. So he did a mock-up here, and this is using real semi-graphics. Like, I know some people have done semi-graphic simulations before where you can mix colors in the same block besides black, and you can't in real life. This is actually accurate. Now, this wasn't created on the CoCo, it was created with Photoshop and animated through there, but it's literally something that could be done. Like, you know, animated characters in the background, animated characters in the foreground, you know, flickering torches and stuff, all using 64 by 32 graphics, which is pretty amazing.
Which looks really good. Yep.
Yeah.
I'd play that game.
Yeah, I would. I think there was some other, if I remember correctly. So it was in one of the other posts. Might be one of the other posts. But there was some other further stuff on it, so we'll get there, I guess. And then there's Matchy. Now, Matchy had a whole bunch of stuff that came in. Like I said, I don't know if I have these all in order, but we were talking about where Protectors 2 allowed you or use the semi-graphics 24 mode, but actually use the text characters and would mix the different parts in the scan lines. Now you're limited to where in semi-graphics 4, your scan lines have to be in the exact same spot. You can't shift a character up a pixel or something. But by mixing the different characters together by scan line, you can make characters that don't exist. So these little Space Invaders guys here are actually made from mixing text characters.
That's really cool.
Now you have to move it as a whole character cell up and down and left and right. You can't do smooth animation, but this is where you could mix, you know, stuff from the 8 color blocks along with this, and you can actually get some pretty detailed looking graphics. And the only game we really had that really distribute or display that before was Protectors 2, which did the waving guys. And this is actually a little bit of his text editor, which actually it shows you if you're trying to pick certain color combinations, and it shows you all the possible text characters that would make that particular bit pattern. So you can pick and choose from which one you're grabbing from here. So you'll see like he's picked a 0, a star, a number sign, the V, and you know he's picking those different parts to build his
Wow, that's intricate.
Now you don't have complete control, obviously, because you're limited by whatever's on the VDG, and there's also the problem that the VDG itself has 2 versions of it. The T1, the lowercase one, not only did they add lowercase, which changes some of the characters, but they also shifted everything up to make room for descenders. So the graphics don't work the same. So if you were going to do something like that and make it compatible with all CoCo 2s, you'd have to make 2 versions of it for the 2 different character sets. And some of the characters are different, so you won't have an exact match. Now, further on Matchy here, this is where he's showing a semi-graphics 12 animated. Oh no, this one was a semi-graphics 24.
Yeah, that's a really cool looking Ryu.
Now, you mentioned that the way he captured this got recorded with all these weird scan lines in it. So this little picture down here is showing what it would look like without all the semi-graphic or the scan lines inserted. So it's a bit more solid colors.
I actually like the scan lines. I thought that was really cool. I was like, wow, I don't know how he did that, but that's really cool.
And here's some interlacing of mixing the different colors together so that you get more apparent colors than the standard 9. And then I put in a little thing like if you use the alternate character set and we want to do 32 by 92, then you can actually add in the dark red and the orangish yellow added in. So you actually have 11 colors you can play with in that mode if you want to, that are fully controlled without any tricks and dithering. So that was cool. And then he did this one here. So this is just kind of a concept thing of doing semi-graphics 12. So this is doing 64 by 96 color. Where he's got this animated character and he's walking between rooms. And actually, I like the stair-stepping of the doors actually works pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
It looks decent. And he's actually got it auto-mapping at the top, too. So you watch that little yellow box there. Will actually start drawing further as he goes, between rooms and stuff.
That looks really good.
He's got vertical movement where he slides the screen up and you're going, forward towards the viewer.
Talk about your elevator action, huh?
Yeah. But I mean, the character, even though it has to mix the black and stuff, I think having a black outline designed into the game, because black is common to all color blocks, you could design your character and the code that draws him to also draw black around where the character's the block next to the character would be. So you have a completely black outline at all times. I think that might be a good contrast where it wouldn't look kind of hacky looking.
I gotta say, it's scrolling very smoothly.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to have you come on and talk about this kind of stuff, Matchy. We're kind of looking at this and wonder as far as what you're doing. It's amazing stuff. So it'd be great to hear it from the source. What you're doing, how you're doing it, and what some of your inspiration and motivation is for doing this kind of stuff. It's really cool.
And his combat clone that we showed off.
Yeah, that was really neat. Yeah, I mean, we're just seeing things that we've never seen before. Literally, never seen things like this before, and it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, looking forward to see what he comes up with, because I mean, the last few weeks he's coming up with a whole bunch of new stuff every week. So I'm very impressed.
And I remember when he first entered the CoCo community and started posting some stuff on Facebook, and people were saying, "Well, who are you, and how did you do this?" and stuff like that, and it was almost kind of like, it kind of came in and kind of to a rough start, because there are some people who are not always,
Yeah, and some inherent biases too. I mean, John Kowalski, Sockmaster, went through this when he first released the videos on YouTube of Donkey Kong on the CoCo. Because a lot of people came in the chat room and said, that's fake, that's MAME running, you're lying, this isn't really a CoCo. And he said, well, download, here's the link.
Yeah.
Well, people just refused. They said, I'm not downloading it because I know it's BS, type thing. So, but some people did.
So a while ago, when he first started posting some stuff, he kind of came out of nowhere and started posting stuff in Facebook, and it was almost like too good to be true. And is this guy real? Is he hacking? Is he trolling? What is he doing? And probably wasn't met with the highest level of courtesy, which maybe did not cause him to respond with the highest level of courtesy. And I know there was a little bit of slight controversy when he first kind of entered the scene, but I'm glad to see that he's still here. And he's doing
obviously
stuff.
Proven himself, obviously.
Oh, yeah, the guy's got talent, and he's doing some neat things, doing things that have never been done before. Just really high-end stuff.
And it sounds like him and Erico are working together, because Erico's a graphic designer who's really good
it's almost kind of like Bruce Wayne and Batman, because I haven't seen Erico and Matchy at the same time. So it's like Clark Kent, Superman, Bruce Wayne, Batman type thing. Where are they the same person? I don't know, but they're both very talented and doing really creative, artistic things. A lot of commonalities there.
And they are working together on some projects by the sounds of it. So I'm really looking forward to some of the
Yeah. That's cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Glad to see some innovative things taking place on the color computer.
Yeah.
So.
And here's Ed Snyder's released a video of how to replace the keyboard with his new, high-end Switch keyboard with the laser sculpted keycaps.
CoCo Mech.
Yeah.
I understand he's going to make a yellow set, so we'll feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, so it matches your unretro-brighted CoCo.
Right.
So, I mean, taking the keyboard out, I won't get too much into that because that's pretty obvious. There is some measuring. There's some little adapters you have to put so that the keyboard has a solid foundation. Just putting on the posts is not enough because it's a heavier keyboard. So there's a few things. He's got these two pieces you have to add in. The one in his left hand in this shot actually just goes over top of that middle post and it basically steadies the back of the keyboard. The other one you have to actually glue and you have to kind of measure where it goes so it's centered enough, and that supports the front of the keyboard.
Some assembly required is what you're saying here.
Yeah, like here you can see that first piece there just slides over the post. It's dead easy.
Yeah.
The other one you have to measure, and he's got some double-sided sticky tape, and here he is measuring. And then he glues it on, and that'll hold the keyboard in. Then here's the keyboard, and the connector he's got is a lot more solid. It's not the little Mylar thing. It's actually a ribbon cable with an actual card edge, so it won't, break the Mylar and cause it. We used to have in the old days. Plugs it in. You can see he's got the 4-color version of the keyboard.
That is neat.
Blue.
I love the gray. I love the gray keys.
Yeah, I really like this. This is the color scheme I think I'm gonna end up getting myself.
Yeah.
I was gonna go with the one that's traditional CoCo 3 with the 3 colors, but actually I like the arrow keys on different colors.
Yeah, I really like that one as well. It's that's the one I told him on Facebook that I wanted when I'm able to afford to get one.
Yeah. Now he did mention during the video here too that those 2 spacers you put in also helps to have the keyboard seated properly so you can actually close the case properly, because it's, I guess, a little bit thicker in spots or something, so it's not quite this exact same size. So if you don't do that stuff, it won't fit properly. You might not be able to get the cover back on properly. So, and hoping it's a better shot of the keyboard. Here we are. And we'll just see some nice typing of the nice mechanical keys here.
You have a keyboard installed. Pretty simple, but it is critical that you have the right supports and a full set of case screws so that it holds it all nicely together. Just to have a nice, sturdy, usable keyboard.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll be ordering one of those when they're out.
Listen, that sound.
Yes.
Yeah, that's almost like the IBM. What is it? The 5150 is the famous. Or what is it?
So this
Type
keyboard
M's.
will last a long time.
It should. It should. It definitely give Mark Overholzer a run for his money, because whenever you have Mark on Discord, all you hear is so it's just
well, the other
That's not true.
the other advantage of that keyboard also is if a key does go out, let's say later on, a couple of years or whatever years from now, it's easier to replace those individual switches than the entire Mylar being, broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting. That is another great product from the Zipster Zone. Ed Snyder, just making cool stuff.
I should mention too that the CoCo 1 and 2 can use this keyboard fine. I mean, we had keyboards from other third parties back in the day that actually had the extra 4 keys that were empty in the matrix. So this will work on a CoCo 1 and 2. Now the extra keys, you'll have to write software yourself to get use of it, but there's no reason you can't put this in a CoCo 1 or 2 as well.
Is it true that he's going to make a MC10 style keyboard for us?
Oh,
no,
so we can
the Timex ZX80, the Mylar.
So we can upgrade. We can upgrade our CoCo to the MC10 keyboard.
Yes.
I would actually like this keyboard with the arrow keys in the original layout.
Yeah, I was trying to see if looks like there's enough room if we could do both. Because I mean, having the 4 in the diamond shape is good if you're doing like word processing or something. You can do one-handed move the cursor key around. But for playing games that were designed back in the early '80s for the CoCo 1 and 2, yeah, they suck because you need 2 hands.
Yeah, I mean, if you can move the up and down where the control and alt are, and this stick to control and alt over there by the function keys, or just down lower, because who the hell uses control alt anyways, right? On CoCo, so
there's a lot of extra
excuse me.
The other thing, I don't know if it's possible. I'm not a hardware guy, but is there a possibility he could put a switch or something on it? You could switch that the alt control actually just maps over top the other
up
keys.
and down.
Yeah, like if you could just flick it CoCo 1 keyboard mode, and then I could play Phantom Slayer two-handed like I'm used to.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't either. It's a
But I
hardware.
really love the 4-color key. I think I'll be going for.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, I think we gotta make sure that we support our hardware vendors out there who are making these things, because if people aren't buying these products, they're not going to keep making them, and they're making cool stuff, right? So we got lots of CoCo products out there. So support your hardware makers and your software makers too.
Yeah, and for the programmers out there, we need to start supporting the hardware makers on the software side too, because a lot of them, they don't have time to make new hardware designs if they're busy trying to hack out software, if they're not really software people. And if you can volunteer to help, make drivers or test programs or whatever else for any of the hardware vendors, then please do so. They could all use the help and be able to devote more of their time to what their specialty is, which is the hardware design of things.
Yeah, cool stuff. All right, so Evan Wright.
Yes, Evan Wright managed to track down Robert Kilgus, who was one of the authors of some of the original software for the CoCo when it first came out. Probably his more famous ones are Dino Wars and Skiing, both 3D. Color Cubes, which is a Rubik's Cube, the clone that it was also done by him, is also 3D. And he did the disk editor assembler. In fact, I think we nicknamed it Kilgus DOS because he had a special, DOS loader and stuff in there too. So he managed to track him down, and I guess Robert has published a book for the Kindle, etc., called Inside Microfiles, which is actually including source code listings and explanation of the design from a programmer's side of view of designing this program for the Tier City Model 1 and 3 back in the day. So I just found it fascinating. He actually managed to get a hold of him because I've been trying to find him for years and I never had any luck. So hopefully we can maybe arrange an interview with him.
Yep. Curtis, are you still there? I lost Curtis's audio.
Uh-oh. Well, we can't forget color script set.
Yeah.
No, the thing that Robert also wrote was color profile, not the OS9 profile, but color.
Can you hear me now?
Profile.
Yeah.
We can hear you now, but it sounds like you switched over to your Max mic. You're much more bassy.
Okay, yeah, because my...
Oh, no, you're back. You're clean.
Okay, yeah. I was just switching back over. Somehow I heard a kind of a crackle, and all of a sudden it just disconnected my mic. But anyway, yeah, no, he's done a lot of good 3D stuff. I mean, Skiing is a first-person perspective that was amazing at the time that I saw it. That was one of the first cartridges I ever bought.
Dino Wars.
Dino Wars has, scalable dinosaurs you're running around and ran in 4K. Though it flickered a fair bit in 4K. But I would love to get some details on how he came up with some of this stuff. And he also wrote Quasar Commander, too, which is one of the original cartridges, one of the very first batch that came up with the CoCo in the first place. Another 3D-ish.
What about Project Nebula?
No, that was Robert
Arnstein?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that one came out, I think, 2 years after Quasar Commander, because that was our first 3D space shooter.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the color set, space is yellow, but...
Yeah. In
one
space.
One of the things he wrote on color profile, which made it very unique over any of the other database type programs, was it supported sub records of some of the entries, which color profile or OS9 profile did not support at all. So it was real. I used color profile for years. It was a really good program.
Cool. I did not know that. I'm not overly familiar with. I mean, I know it exists, but I'm not overly familiar with.
Yeah, it was fairly expensive. It was like $60 back in the day. But again, one of the main things was it supported sub records.
Cool. Have you tried Sculptor? Like, how would it compare to that?
Never tried Sculptor.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be great to be able to get some type of interview going with him.
Yeah, I would love to have him on. I don't know what the heck that's coming up for. Glenside released their new newsletter, and they have some coverage of the CoCo Fest, like the CoCo Fest award ceremony here they mentioned, and then they've got a bunch of really good pictures of the hotel, the Heron, and then the Dino Wars. Speaking of Dino Wars,
yeah,
mural that we all got our pictures taken with. And
yeah, I think Glenn said he mentioned to him that this thing was here, this life size printout of it.
Yeah. That'd be cool to just have that there if we can get him to a show like the 40th anniversary, because he's one of the authors of the original cartridge that came out in 1980. So it's the 40th anniversary of Quasar Commander too.
Did I say Glenn? It was Evan Wright who contacted him, right?
Yeah, Evan.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
So there's a lot of good pictures in here of all the people that were down at the show, and some of the booths and some of the hardware and some of the software. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. You guys can download it. It's linked to it on Facebook. So, and if you're a member of Glenn's side or you've been to a CoCo Fest, you're kind of automatically included in the email version of this too. So a lot of good pictures in there. Blair Leduc, he told us, we had a story on him last week about using Visual Studio with special add-on for the 6809 assembler, and there were some suggestions from Eric Gaberlich and a few others, and he's done an improved version 0.2 that fixes some of the issues and adds some extra functionality to it. So it's a nice little upgrade to it if you've been using this. And Visual Studio is now cross-platform. This is the official development environment that Microsoft makes, but they've now got it on Mac and on Linux and on Windows. So it's nice to have color, syntax, highlighting, etc. for your native CoCo 6809 code and 6309 that you can do on pretty well any platform of the modern platforms. So you can go grab that. It's actually up on there. I'm assuming he's still working on it too. So look for more updates in the future.
Very cool.
Back to Matt Chai again. Like I said, I got some of these out of order depending when I found them. This is a semi-graphics editor that he's working on for doing tiles.
Oh.
So he's actually got scrolling. So if you're doing, tile editing a map with a bigger screen, and then he's got the individual chunks, you can go through and edit. And your color bars in the bottom, so you can see what kind of colors you're selecting. I'm not sure of the interface. He doesn't have any audio with this, so he's not really speaking about it. But I'm assuming this is some sort of racetrack game. That's pretty cool. I mean, he's been doing a lot of stuff with semi-graphics. And between him and Eric, I'm really looking forward to what kind of stuff they come up with. They're actually making tools for each other and suggestions for each other on what they can do. So I think that's a collaboration that's going to work really, really well.
Like Lennon and McCartney.
Yeah, exactly. Or Keith Richards and Mick Jagger.
Or Smith and Wesson.
Or peanut butter and chocolate.
No, it's peanut butter and honey. Get it right.
It's like Bailey's and coffee.
Abbott and Costello.
Sorry, what was that?
Like cocoa and
chocolate and sauerkraut.
Chocolate and sauerkraut, he says. Okay, yeah.
Okay. I haven't heard of that particular one before. And this one, we kind of did the video preview of it, which was hilarious. Ken, really good job on that. And as I mentioned, it's actually based on a true story because we heard at the fest that one guy was getting delayed because he'd hit a couch on the highway on the way up to the fest.
It was Terry Steen, creator of Balloon Fire and Gray Lady. So,
yeah, so he ended up hitting that. And I can't remember, did he total the car or did he just get quite damaged?
Yeah, I think so. I think he totaled his car. He had to get a rental car or something.
Get a rental car to make it to the fest. So
and that's dedicated. He was still there. He was still there.
Was it a couch or a Davenport?
So yeah,
they're all dangerous when they're on the
So
highway.
I feel we're gonna have to play this game tonight on our little gaming marathon coding chit chat session.
Yeah, I'll have to see if that works with the trackball.
I thought they were only Davenports in Iowa.
Oh wait, maybe you can. This looks like it's keyboard. Left and right arrow keys to steer, Q and Z, Q and Z to steer or gear up and down. So
okay. CoCo Fest. It's counting down the miles to CoCo Fest in there too. Look at that.
Yeah. Now, mind you, since we're doing a coding thing tonight, then we could modify it to use joystick. So then you could try your trackball.
There you go.
And the last one I got here, James Diffendaffer, has been further optimizing the MC10 basic for the sine and cosine functions. And he's also optimized it for doing keeping track of the pointer to what line you're currently processing in a basic program. Because I guess currently it does a rather roundabout way of doing it, which actually slows down BASIC. So he's done some more patches to BASIC, and he says the average program gets about an 8% speed up just from the line number handling. And he's sped up the sine cosine stuff to use a multiply reciprocal, which is some fancy math term, versus division, which is faster. So now he's got his little drawing his low res hat literally running almost 50% faster on his new version of BASIC than the old one. So I will.
So will this be a new ROM you could get?
I think he might.
This is currently MC10, but I'm passing all the information on to Bill Astle, who has been working on the CoCo one, and I can't do all of this in patches to the existing CoCo 3 ROM, but I can put the sine cosine patch in.
So anyway, he goes through and draws it.
And by the way, while you guys were off,
I'll just
while you guys were offline, I managed to speed it up by a little over another 1%. So
wow,
oh, cool.
We should go offline more often.
You can see at this point, because he started the two versions of the program pretty well at the same time, and how far ahead the new version is now.
Yeah.
Like he's shown us previous versions of this where it's a bit ahead, but not like this. This is a large jump in performance.
That's insane.
Now, is this something, James, you're planning on putting on the MCX ROM?
I'm going to release a ROM and create a loader for I'm going to create a loader for MCX, so it'll load it into RAM, and you can run it on that. Or you could, if you wanted to, hack your MC10 to put it internally, but most of the ROMs are soldered in, so it's better left outside. Eventually, I hope to add other, extended BASIC commands and stuff, but I've just been focusing on speed at this point. And the latest patch that I just finished, it might be the last thing I could do that will offer a significant speed up without doing something drastic that breaks compatibility.
And that's because you'll have to start moving ROM routines around from the original locations. Is that?
That was completely out the door from the start. I didn't. Yeah, there was nothing calling anything except maybe the keyboard, the polecat function that's documented, and on that, it has the pointer to it at the top of ROM. So, there was no point in keeping it in the same space. I mean, there's a pinball game I have to worry about, and everything else is basic. So it's not too big a deal.
Okay.
But, yeah.
It's nice speed ups.
Well, I can speed it up further, but then I'm converting line numbers to integers in the code when I tokenize it, and I'm converting constants to integers in the 16-bit integers and stuff like that, and it's completely different than the existing format, and it's a heck of a lot of work. So
yeah, so the backwards compatibility is if somebody's using like a varptar or a USR call, obviously that's going to be stored totally differently.
That stuff still works the same at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to, one of the things I plan on doing is adding a moving variables. So the names are in a table and there's a pointer to the actual variable. And then there's a pointer to this new table in the actual code, so that a variable lookup doesn't have to sequentially go through all the variables. It just points to the one table, which points to the other. And it's 2 or 3 instructions.
Yeah, that's more how Basic 9 works, actually.
Right, I had on the go-to. I planned on creating a couple new tokens for. The theory was that I could create 2 new tokens for go-to and go-sub, and I could embed the integer of a line number and then convert it to a pointer at runtime, and then when you want to go to a line number, instead of having to go look through the linked lists for the line number, the first time it does that, and after that it calls a different token that directly just loads the address and continues executing it from there.
That's also like basically actually, because they got two versions of GoSub and GoTo that are basically,
Yeah, you're going from hundreds, on a GoTo, it takes hundreds, if not thousands of, depending on how long your program is, of instructions to look up a line number. But it only takes, I think I came up with 3 once you convert it to a pointer. I mean, it's not even funny how much faster it will be if I continue down that road. But anyway, it's pretty fast now for Microsoft Basic anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It'd be interesting to see what Jim Gary could do with that too. Once, I
got to track down. I got to track down a couple bugs for him, but he was excited to see the last version. So anyway,
very cool, very cool. Breathing life into
a doorstop.
Yes, keeping the Tandy flame alive.
Doorstop Basic.
Doorstop Basic. Yes, 1.1. No.
Anyway, that was it for news. So
okay, yeah, and if we had gone any further down that discussion, my head would have probably exploded too. So it's probably.
I was waiting for the DEFCON to start showing.
I was trying to cut it off at that point.
You kept it good, James. Good job. Yeah.
I was waiting for the Steve Con alert to come up.
Yeah, I had a question for James about the ROM. What kind of ROM does the MC10 have or take or use?
I would have to open mine up to look at that, and we can talk about that.
Okay.
It doesn't have it wired for a 16K ROM, but the memory map is set up for a 16K ROM.
Okay.
So it would require some hacking to the hardware if you do it internally.
I believe the ROM chip type is Dorito.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
makes your fingers orange.
Okay. Well, are we out of show? Have we done it? We talked about what we want to talk. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
I don't have anything here.
Okay, so we've finished the news. We are, gosh, it's only 4:16, so this is a short show. It's only been 2 hours and stuff. But they don't all have to be 3 to 4 to 5 hours,
We're slacking.
It's been a holiday week too. I mean, we had Canada Day on Monday, and you guys had July the 4th. So both countries are taking a break.
Well, don't you have a July 4th in Canada also?
Yeah, July 1st are Canada Day on Monday.
No, they don't have that. They skip over the 4th completely.
They go right from 3 to 5.
Yeah, they go from 3 to 5.
You see what I was doing there.
Ours wasn't quite Brexit 1776.
Brexit 1776 edition, yes. So.
Well, we could have an After Dark, sir.
We could. Well, we're gonna have one later on tonight. We're gonna have a gaming. We're gonna play Ken's new game. I've got a bunch of updates from David Lord on Cosmic Aliens that I haven't had a chance to look at yet. So we'll look at some of the Cosmic Alien updates that I haven't even done myself. So that'll be cool to see.
Test out your trackball.
Test out the trackball. Maybe do some more coding. So we're gonna have some chit chat, coding, and gaming tonight. Later on, maybe about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. We'll reconvene and see when we're gonna do that.
Is this Couchmate Madness game free or just download it?
It is free, but if you get it for free, you paid too much.
Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway, yeah, at Ken, Ken, K-E-N, makeit.com. Kenmakeit.com, where you can get Nightmare Highway and stunning low-resolution graphics. So
along with, I think, a lot of the back catalog.
Yeah, kind of like he's pulling a Nick Marenti's deal there.
Except there's no 20-year-old video there.
Yeah.
And a bargain at twice the price.
Cool stuff. So have we missed anything? Is there anything we have not covered so far? All right, we'll let the stunning sound of crickets indicate that I believe we're ready to put a fork in this episode. And we had a little technical mishap there with a power strike. But we managed to, the show went on. The Tandy flame is kept alive. We may be mocked, but we will never stop. It was great to have the Bruce back on here. Terry Steggy is still here. Ron Delvaux, Mark D. Overholzer, L. Curtis Boyle, Rick Adams, legendary game designer, legend in his own mind, Jason Reichard, and Mark Bosley, and DeBruce, and Nick Marotta. You've been kind of quiet today.
Nick Marotta.
Anything new and exciting with you, Nick? You're muted.
Sound issues.
Sound issues. Okay, Grant Leedy's here. Richard Lorbieski of Boyson Technologies. Nick Marentes and David Ladd. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run the closing credits, and we'll be back for some post-credits closing thoughts, parting thoughts, if you will. So we're going to go ahead and play the outro, and we'll be right back. This concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at CoCoTalk.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to CoCoTalk at CoCoTalk.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click the Patreon link at our website at CoCoTalk.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
CoCoTALK would not exist without the community, its past, crew, and contributors. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leedy, Bruce Moore, Nick Marentes, Ron Delvaux, Rick Adams, Jason Reichert, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Tom C., Rob Inman, Mark Bosley, Brian Joyce, Ken Reichert, David O'Connor, Brian Weasler, Terry Steggy, Nick Marotta, John Strong, and many more, especially to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and James Different-Daffer for making my head explode. Please help support the CoCo community by visiting some of its various contributors. A list of resources is available at imacoconut.com. That's IMACOCONUT.com. The CoCoTALK theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. Can't get enough of that Nick Marotta and his ukulele. Never enough. All right. Well, once again, of all the episodes and shows we've had, this has been one of them.
I'd like to suggest an alternate title for this episode.
Uh-huh.
How not to plug your computer into your
An informational video. It's 2 hours long of information of how to do that.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, your electricity raged quit.
My electricity. Yeah. I told you that was a sign from God. He said, "My people have suffered enough. It's time to end this show."
Mercy kill from the power company.
Mercy kill. Yes. All right. So good show. We'll be back tonight. The place to find out when and where would be on Discord. We are on Discord throughout the day. So if you're interested in rejoining us, we're going to tentatively say probably 8 p.m., which is roughly 3.5, 4 hours from now. We'll be back. It'll be a miscellaneous CoCo chit chat, CoCo coding, and CoCo game playing session. We'll have a little bit of everything going on. We'll check it all out, and hopefully you'll join us again for more community bonding in a couple of hours. So I want to thank the remaining panel who's here now: Terry Steggy, Ron Delvaux, Mark D. Overhoser, L. Curtis Boyle, legendary game designer Rick Adams, Mark Bosley, D. Bruce Moore, Nick Marotta, Jason Reichard, brother of Ken Reichard, creator of, what's the game again? Panic?
What was it now? Nightmare.
Highway to Hell or something? I can't remember.
Oh goodness! Yeah, I already.
Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway.
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 That's it.
Yes.
There we go.
Grant Leedy, Richard Lloyd Basic, Nick Morentis, David Ladd in the live chat. We've had dozens of people. Ken Reichert, Joe Burnett was here. Matchy was here. James Jones was here. James Diffendaffer. Erica was here. Tim Franklin was here. Alexander Wallace from Mexico. Tim Franklin. We got people on YouTube, on Facebook, all over the place. Alan Huffman has been here. You name it, the stars have come out to watch, and we're going to do it again in a couple hours. So I'm going to press the button. Say goodbye, everybody.
Adios.
Bye,
everybody.
Push the button,
Bye,
Frank.
everyone.